Hey everybody, Captain Joe here from Help Heal Veterans. Welcome to another edition of Creativity Heals here at NAMTA, and we are having our last interview, and the best for last is we have Lawrence Hoffman from Uchida USA, also chairman of the NAMTA Board. Thank you, sir, for taking some time. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, sure. Well, hey, thanks, Joe, first of all, for having me over here. And we're right across the way from each other in the booth here, which is awesome. So we've seen each other for a couple days, but now we finally get to talk. So, yeah, I've been blessed and fortunate to be in the creative industry for my entire career. And so the amount of impact I feel that we've had has been phenomenal, right? But I think one of the things about the industry that I truly love is the people. And it's not just who they are and what they are, but it's what they stand for and what they do for the industry. So I'm really excited about, with NAMTA celebrating the last 75 years, but I'm really super excited about the future where we're going.
Oh, awesome. So, we were talking about creativity and the healing process, and we hear a little bit about, like, it can be helpful, like, for building resiliency, for improving wellness, for folks who experience trauma. And I'd ask you, like, why do you think that is? Why do you think creativity helps?
You know what I think it does? And even today, it gives people an opportunity to focus on something else besides what may be their struggle or their challenge, right? It gives them an opportunity to focus on a specific thing at a specific time and really hone in, especially like with our products, with pens and markers, right? You can get down to do really detailed work, and it takes focus to do that. So it helps the brain focus on this and not have to think about maybe what some of the struggles are and what some of the challenges are.
Right. So do you have any stories that you've seen where it's like you really made an impact on someone's life being creative?
Absolutely, and I'd tell you one very close to home is we just recently had to put my mother in a care facility. And it's obviously it was a huge transition for her. She was used to living independently on her own.
Right.
And in the home with her are other people that obviously need assistance. They're not able to do things on their own. Well, one thing that's very exciting is that we've actually brought a bunch of pens and markers and coloring books and pads and paper and things like that. And it gives it, and we've seen, because initially it was very hard for her to get adjusted to that,
right,
but it kind of created a sense of community there where they all sat down and we actually had them work on one single art project, right? So they could create it together and hang it up in the house, and it was something they all worked on together. So it enabled them to help build a relationship,
right,
but also, again, kind of not think about the situation, but focus on more of an activity, and it was a group activity. It's really tied them all together.
I love that, especially when you talk about community, because like we talk about creativity, we have people talk about the focus, the building a sense of community, doing something together. That whole mindfulness. Like it's amazing how versatile the tools that your company makes and other NAMTA members make, how much of an impact it can have in someone's life.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
What advice would you give to somebody? Because we're guys,
Yeah.
and sometimes guys are maybe a little leery about doing something creative because it's not perceived as old school manly,
sure.
Or even more importantly, I think sometimes, for example, children have a hard time wanting to express themselves because they prejudge, oh, this is ugly, or I'm not good enough, or my friends will laugh at me. What advice would you give somebody who's thinking about taking that first step to being creative, but maybe a little leery about it?
Yeah, and listen, I can understand that, and it's funny because I sell creative tools, and I don't feel like I have the best creative ability, right?
Right.
But the whole point is, that's the wonderful thing about creativity, and let's just say art in general, right? It's such a wide spectrum. It's not, yes, you have all different types, but I'd say, you know what? Don't do it for the outcome, do it for the process. Just enjoy the process, right? Put some color down on a page. Get a paintbrush and throw some colors on a canvas. Just do something and enjoy the process. Don't worry about what the outcome looks like, right? Don't worry if, this picture doesn't look like I thought it would. Enjoy, make a mess, have fun,
right.
But just don't think about, and because we're kind of wired to say, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and it's going to look like this, right?
Right.
No, just have fun, try different things, and just use it, but just enjoy the process, I think.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Uchida, your booths are pretty busy
Yeah,
across the way, so I can see that.
But
so I'm just curious because you guys you're businessmen, you're there, but you're also making a product that's creative and that allows people to express themselves. So I'm curious, does wellness and consumer, how the consumer feels about your product, does that go into your product design?
Oh, 100%. And I will tell you one thing that I appreciate about working for a Japanese company is their testing standards. And the reason I talk about this is because matter of fact, from a sales standpoint, sometimes it's a little frustrating. It's like, well, come out with those new colors, come out with this new tip. But they take the time to test it, so when the consumer opens it up and uses it, they get a consistent quality application every time, right? So I'm kind of looking at it a little bit different. I would say our pens aren't necessarily ergonomically designed. We do have different size barrels because some people feel more comfortable with a larger barrel. Some people feel more comfortable with a smaller barrel.
Right.
You know, some people feel more comfortable with different tips. But I would think the quality standpoint of, hey, when I take the cap off and I put the tip down to the page, it's going to work like they expect it to.
Right. Awesome. So I'm going to ask you to put your other hat on as
Okay.
chairman here,
Sure.
as we end our discussion, and talk a little about NAMTA membership. You know, what I always appreciate about this industry, because I used to, I was the military guy, and then I worked with the beer industry for a while, which is great, but I love being part where you're making a product that you're really super proud of. There is no downside to anything, unlike some other industries that
Sure.
what we kind of do here. But I'm kind of curious to see what do you think wellness goes into the culture of kind of the creative industry?
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's interwoven in that, but I think we're just kind of starting to realize the benefits of that.
Yeah.
And I know there have been some other people that have realized the benefits, but realistically, and even, you know, we're all going through a lot. And I think I remember you telling me something when COVID happened. It was like we all kind of experienced some type of PTSD. Right?
Yeah.
And that's very true. We were all going through things that we couldn't understand. We couldn't, understand why we're feeling the way we were, and there was a lot of trauma and a lot of issue with that. But what I think with the community and with the people here, the great thing is about the community, and I think we always say that we're better together, we're stronger together. And it gives us the opportunity, and it gives people the opportunity to get together, to create together, right? And but you talk about the mental wellness and the physical wellness. That has definitely been key on the minds of the NAMTA members, and especially with you guys being here. You guys are on the forefront of helping educate, not just the people here, but educate our community on the benefits of that. So it's become a lot more. It's kind of been surface level for a while.
Right.
People realize that they feel better when they do creative things, but it's actually come more to the forefront. It's like, wow, this is actually a form of therapy that can really help people get through some really difficult times.
There's great science behind it, some good research.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you, as us as a nonprofit, NAMTA members have been so generous and it's so helpful, and they get it. They get the benefit. Like usually when you're trying to talk about your nonprofit, it's why me and why what I do to support helps.
Right.
But really, half our job is done. Can they get it right away for
They
that?
get it, yeah.
So if somebody wants to know a little more about Uchida products or about you, where would you send them?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, initially you can just go to Uchida.com. We've got a full website and a lot of information about us, and we've been around for over 50 years here in the U.S. If you want to find out a little bit about me, I have a LinkedIn page, right? You can
Right.
look me up on LinkedIn. I'm sure my bio's on the NAMTA website as well.
Right.
So, but I think you can probably reach out to me through LinkedIn too if you'd like
Awesome.
to connect.
Thanks, Lawrence, and thanks for your time, and thanks for a great show. This has been awesome.
Hey, it has. Thank you so much, Joe.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, and we'll talk to you later.